In June 2025, Julian Alfred ran 21.71 seconds in London into a headwind. She visibly slowed before the finish line, still clocked the ninth fastest 200 meters in history. She entered Tokyo as the fastest woman in the world. Nobody had come close all year. But what happened in Tokyo was nothing like what anyone expected. And it changed the 200 meters forever. On a summer evening in London, Alfred came off the curve with power nobody in that race could match. She hit the straight and pulled clear. With 10 meters left, she eased up, stopped pushing, crossed the line in 21.71 seconds. That time put her ninth on the all-time list for the 200 meters. But the number alone does not tell the full story. She ran that time into a negative 0.6 meter per second headwind. Headwinds slow sprinters down, which means her real speed was even more frightening than the clock showed. Her training partner Dina Asher-Smith, the 2019 world champion, ran 22.25 in that same race. Alfred beat her by more than half a second. She made a world champion look like she was running in second gear. At the Paris 2024 Olympics just 11 months earlier, Alfred ran 22.08 in the 200-meter final and finished second behind Gabby Thomas. Experts said fatigue from running both the 100 and 200 meters slowed her down off the curve. But the version of Alfred, who showed up in London 2025, was completely different. The whole sprinting world could feel it. This transformation did not happen overnight, and it did not come easy. Before the Paris Olympics, Alfred was in a dark place. She nearly walked away from the sport entirely. The pressure of being St. Lucia's biggest athletic hope was breaking her mentally. She said that winning a global medal before Paris did not motivate her. It actually hurt her. She felt like she had to perform every single time, or she was failing everyone who believed in her. Her coach, Edric Floral, asked her one question that flipped everything around. "Are you ready to be an Olympic champion?" Her journal, and wrote the words Julian Alfred, Olympic champion. Then she went out and ran 10.72 seconds to win gold, delivering St. Lucia its first Olympic medal in history. After Paris, she kept building. She added heavy strength work to amplify what she calls her superpower, power. She trained longer distances to hold her top speed through the full 200 meters. Her curve to straight transition, the part of the race where 200 meters are won or lost, became her sharpest weapon. In 2025, she won every 200-meter race she entered, 3 for 3. She recorded a meeting record of 10.75 seconds in Stockholm. She only lost one 100-meter race all year. Even when injury forced her out of several major August meets, she came back and won the Zurich Diamond League final, running 10.76. Her coach confirmed they were still at 80% intensity heading into Tokyo. She had not even peaked yet. Rehook, remember that 21.71 in London, into a headwind, while easing up before the line. That was not her ceiling. Tokyo was supposed to prove that. Alfred arrived in Tokyo with the fastest 200-meter time in the world in 2025. Her 21.71 put her ahead of every rival by a clear gap. Gabby Thomas, who beat her at Paris, had already pulled out with an Achilles injury. The road to gold had never looked more open. Then, during the warm-up for the 100-meter final, her hamstring tightened. She felt it. She knew exactly what it was. She lined up anyway. She crossed the finish line in bronze medal position in the 100 meters. Remarkable by any standard. But this was Julian Alfred, the woman who writes Olympic champion in her journal before the race, and then goes out and does it. Bronze was not the plan. After the race, she was straight about it. She said she was feeling more pain now that the adrenaline had worn off. She said she was still deciding whether to run the 200 meters. She gave herself 24 hours. Her agent, Henry Raleigh, confirmed the diagnosis before she made her decision public. Grade 1 hamstring strain. The smallest category of muscle tear. But for a sprinter running 200 meters at full speed, even a grade 1 puts the entire muscle at serious risk if pushed any further. The next day, the St. Lucia Athletics Association released a formal statement. Alfred was withdrawn from the 200 meters. The race she had spent an entire year preparing for. The race she was the clear favorite to win. Gone. When Alfred pulled out, the 200-meter field in Tokyo shifted completely. Melissa Jefferson Wooden had already won the 100-meter world title at these championships. She now had a direct shot at a sprint double, the kind of double that turns athletes into permanent legends. Without Alfred in the race, her biggest obstacle disappeared. Jefferson Wooden had run 21.84 in 2025. Alfred's 21.71 had her covered on paper. But paper does not line up in blocks. Alfred was not there. Jefferson Wooden is fast, fearless, and stood in the middle of an opportunity that was never supposed to be available, not like this. Sha'Carri Richardson had been chasing Julian Alfred since Paris 2024. She lost the Olympic 100-meter final to Alfred by 0.15 seconds. She came back at the 2024 Zurich Diamond League and beat Alfred to even the record at 1-1. But in the 200 meters, she had never reached Alfred's level. With Alfred out of Tokyo, Richardson had the same opening as Jefferson Wooden. The title was available. But neither of them earned it by beating the best 200-meter runner in the world in 2025. The best was sitting on the sidelines with ice on her leg. That fact does not leave the record. Whoever wins in Tokyo wins knowing the fastest woman of the year never made it to the start line. Hook. She ran the 9th fastest 200 meters ever, into a headwind, while decelerating before the finish. And she never got to run the race that mattered most. A grade 1 hamstring strain, handled with proper rest, typically heals within 2 to 4 weeks. The danger is not the injury itself. The danger is returning too fast and turning a grade 1 into a grade 3. That is a season-ending, possibly career-altering situation. Alfred's team chose patience. They chose the long game. The long game for Julian Alfred includes the 2027 World Championships and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. She is 24 years old. She has her best years still ahead. Her 21.71 in London, into a headwind, while slowing down before the line, already shows she is capable of times no woman in this generation has run. When she is fully healthy, fully loaded, and steps onto a track with nothing holding her back, the 200-meter record could genuinely be in danger. Tokyo was not her ending. Tokyo was her delay. The athletes celebrating in her absence should understand one thing. Julian Alfred already raised the bar before she even got there. She set the standard with no one pushing her. And when she comes back, that standard comes with her. Gabby Thomas just did something that no American sprint star has ever done. After winning 3 Olympic gold medals in Paris 2024, after being the most dominant 200-meter sprinter on the planet, after building one of the cleanest public images in all of track and field, she flew 8,200 miles across the world, raced in 3 different African countries in just 9 days, quietly, announced she is switching events, and then told Grand Slam track a flat-out no on live media. No sugarcoating, no PR spin, just facts. And if you have not been paying attention to what is happening with Gabby Thomas right now, this is your sign to start. Let's go back to where this story really begins. Paris 2024. Gabby steps into the 200-meter final with the world's fastest time that season at 21.7 seconds. Facing Julian Alfred, who had just won gold in the 100 meters, Gabby pulls away over the final 50 meters and crosses the line at 21.83 seconds. Gold medal, her first individual Olympic gold. She then runs the third leg on Team USA's 4x100 and the 4x400, helping the squad win gold in both. 3 golds in 1 Olympics. The same 3 golds Allyson Felix won back in 2012. At that point, Gabby Thomas is untouchable. She is the face of American sprinting. Everything is set up perfectly for 2025. Then comes the Achilles. The injury starts nagging her in May 2025 and gets worse through the summer. She is forced to withdraw from the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, the first major championship she was supposed to compete in. For most athletes, that is the moment you go into protection mode. You stay home, you stay safe, you rebuild slowly and quietly. That is the playbook every single American sprinter follows after a major injury. Gabby Thomas threw that playbook in the trash. On April 7th, she posted 3 dates on her social media. April 18th, Addis Ababa Grand Prix in Ethiopia. April 24th, Kip Keino Classic in Kenya. April 26th, Botswana Golden Grand Prix. 3 countries, 3 competitions, 9 days. The Addis Ababa meet sits at over 7,500 feet above sea level. The Nairobi meet at 5,500 feet. For a sprinter whose races last between 10 and 22 seconds, this kind of altitude exposure and back-to-back international travel goes against everything modern sports science says about peak performance. Nobody does this. But before anyone could even question if she was healthy enough, she showed up at the Texas relays and ran 11 seconds in the 100 meters in cold and wet conditions, tying her personal best. Message sent. But here is where the story gets even bigger. While training for her comeback, Gabby quietly appeared on a non-track podcast and dropped something that sent shockwaves through the athletics community. She said she is shifting her focus to the 400 meters in 2026 and beyond, not as a side event, as a primary goal. Her reasoning was straight and honest. She said the constant hard sprint training maxes out the body, and she wants a long career. She has been enjoying the 400 training mentally and physically, and the numbers back her up. She already ran 49.14 seconds in the 400 at the Grand Slam meet in Jamaica in early 2025, which jumped her into the top 25 fastest women of all time in the event. She ran a 49.3 split at the Paris Olympics, when Team USA broke the American record in the 4x400. She ran 49.6 at the Texas Invitational back in 2023. The potential is not a guess. The numbers are already there. Analysts believe she can push into the 48 mid to low range with dedicated 400-meter training. That is not podium level yet when you look at the current field. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, Marilady Paulino, Salwa Eid Nazer are all running 47s and 48s. But it gets Gabby into real conversations. And the target is not 2026. The target is LA 2028. This is a long game move, and she is playing it smarter than anyone expected. Now let's talk about Grand Slam track, because Gabby's answer here was one of the most refreshing things any athlete has said publicly in years. The interviewer asked her directly, if Grand Slam came back, would she do it again? She said no. Just no. No hesitation. She said the concept was great. The best athletes competing against each other frequently is exactly what the sport needs. But she is not doing Grand Slam again. She is fully committed to Atlas. And her answer makes even more sense when you look at what actually happened. Grand Slam track canceled their last meet in Los Angeles in June 2025. By the end of 2025, they filed for bankruptcy. They owe money to athletes, vendors, and employees. Financial problems that reportedly existed months before the league even launched back in 2024 were hidden from Michael Johnson and everyone else involved. The trust is gone. And without athlete trust, there is no league. This is the full picture of what is happening with Gabby Thomas right now. She is not in a crisis. She is not spiraling. She is making the most calculated series of moves we have seen from any American track athlete in years. The African Tour is not random. The 400-meter pivot is not random. Walking away from Grand Slam is not random.
Kashane Thompson, of Jamaica, the Olympic 100-meter silver medalist,